Good morning and welcome to the video for Tuesday, May the 19th. This is going to be our video for 6th grade, covering our homework from our lesson working on describing distributions. Number 2, we want to go ahead and say that our peaks are going to be from 0 to 4 and 10 to 14. For number 3, we do not have any gaps in the data, which is going to influence our answer for number 4. There is a time that we might be able to argue for symmetry if we have significant gaps between a major portion of our data points and something that could be kind of considered an outlier compared to everything else. And so because we cannot draw a line down the center and have something that looks like a mirror opposite or showing symmetry, we would answer no in this particular case. Number 5, I asked you to take a look at peaks, gaps, and clusters. Our peaks are going to be 6 as well as 8. The 8 is given by the book. I would normally not consider that to be a peak because that is too close to everything else around it. We do have gaps at 4 and 7, clusters from 0 to 3, 5 and 6, and 8 to 11. For number 6, we can go ahead and use these same kind of things to talk about how a graph could represent the data. And so peaks would show up specifically in histograms. We may also see gaps in histograms as well. Clusters we might be able to get more as we are looking at a box plot because that's going to influence where we would find our median as well as our upper and lower quartile. And so we might see those reflected through that kind of means. We would also kind of be able to tell clusters in the same way working with histograms. Our variability kind of things, we could look at the range and interquartile range of a graph and tell how spread out the data is. Number 1 on the back, we are looking for in between 25 and 28. That would give us a median age of 26.5. For number 2, I suggested you could count the number of points and start working your way from the left-hand side. Our 10th and 11th data point fall on the number 11, which means 11 would be our median. For number 3, our gap occurs at 31 and 32. There are some people that might try to say the gap is going from after number 30 till we get to number 33. The book would suggest just give the actual numbers. I think I actually learned it slightly differently. I would have said there's a gap going from 30 to 33, giving the next values that are actually represented. So the book does it a little bit different than the way I originally learned how to do that, but this would be the correct book answer for that. For number 4, our peak is going to occur at 37. And so because we have a wide variety of things, we don't really include anything else as being a peak for these purposes. Unlike the one from our previous page where they suggested that this should also be a peak. For number 5, we can look at our range of 8 and see that we have 2 teams with 28 and 20. And so the red and blue teams are going to be the teams that have a drastically different number of points per game, even though the variation in points earned is equal. And number 6, the best way to represent this is by the median. If we try to use the mean, we are going to get a much lower measure of center because this one point is drastically far below every single other point. And so we have 5 data points that are working from roughly 125 to 165, and this one is basically less than a fourth of most of those. And so that would drastically reduce our measure of center if we looked for the mean. So that is the homework problems for today completed. If you have any questions, please reach out to me in Google Classroom if you're one of my students, or reach out to your classroom teacher if you are not. We have one more lesson to go, and that lesson will come out tomorrow on Wednesday the 20th, and then we will have the homework for that on Thursday, and that will finish us for the year. So I will have a couple little extra things thrown in about what's going to be going on this summer as far as additional videos to help prepare you for 7th grade. I'm going to be doing a summer series of videos for every single grade from 2nd through our current 6th graders. And so feel free to come by and take a look at some of the things that you will be working on and want to kind of keep fresh in your mind as you get ready to transition from 6th to 7th grade. So hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.